guys, and today I'll be playing A House in Hellworld. And it's an anti-horror story of desperation, poverty, depression, and the horrors of the haunted real estate market. And that sounds terrifying, so let's start. 7 days. No, I wasn't going to die in 7 days. Dying in 7 days would be easy. 7 days is how long I had left to scrounge up enough cash to avoid being evicted. I have nowhere to go. If I don't get the cash in 7 days, I was going to be thrown out into the street. Honestly, I wish some ghost had called me to let me know if she was going to come out of my TV and kill me instead. I'd rather deal with her than my landlord. And on the subject of ghosts, that happens to be at the heart of my one hope. There's been rumors that there's this house that's hiding some kind of treasure, or it's guarded by some kind of ghost. Now, normally I wouldn't pay attention to crap like that, but unlike other urban legends, this one gets real specific. Like, as in I got the actual address specific. And the person who supposedly checked it out and vanished really are missing persons. So after work tonight, I'm going to see if I can find anything. I didn't sleep too well last night. All I can think about how I survived without any place to call home. While I was on the bus to work, some idiot in a pickup cut in front and discovered that a bus can't stop on a dime and almost wins in most collisions. I called my manager and let him know I'm going to be a bit late, but despite sending him a picture of the collision, he insists that late is late and has to write me up. God, people like that are miserable. I'm not exactly sure what kind of magic they expect me to use to somehow speed up the situation. When I arrive, I have to listen to him whine about having to do the crap I have to start at every shift. Considering how often I hear him listening to various broadcasts in their cozy little office, I suspect he's more irritated than having to do actual work and is just taking it out on me. Workday's done. It's time to visit the house. There was a factory that made sweets, cookies, and crackers on Ashland Street, but it's been closed down for ages. You think if any place would be used to stash some loot to be here, but my destination is a few blocks north. I hiked past empty lots filled with dead trees along a road in serious need of repair until I reached a suburban neighborhood. It's always the nice looking houses too that are haunted. I double checked my directions. I thought haunted houses were supposed to be in nearly deserted areas, but the other homes were nicely maintained and landscaped. As far as I know, it's the right place, but this doesn't look like the kind of locale for a ghost. I was expecting an urban exploration, not a break and enter. The house in question doesn't even look abandoned. There's no graffiti, no broken windows, no for sale sign, and while the lawn won't win any awards, it's not terrible. God, what am I doing? The only thing that's halfway unusual are the old, thick curtains preventing anyone from looking in or out of every window. Well, almost every window. There's one on the second floor that's somewhat open. As I'm looking up, I see a pale face staring dead back at me. I would turn around. Before I could change my mind about the whole thing, I blink and it's gone. It could have easily just been my imagination. Oh, was it? If I weren't so broke and desperate, I'd turn around and go home. But I've already spent the bus fare to get here. Might as well at least knock and see if anyone does live here. As I climb the steps of the porch, the front door quietly opens, revealing an entryway shrouded in darkness. Hello? There's no response. I try again a little louder, but again, nothing. I absolutely should just walk away, but I really can't afford to, and against all better judgment, I step inside. As I step through the doorway, can't help but think about horror movies where the stupid protagonist wanders into some place they clearly shouldn't, then they have the nerve to look surprised when the door slams shut and traps them. I jump out the door slammed shut, because I'm an idiot. The interior of the house is a lot rougher looking than it was on the outside. In the dim light, I could still see the inky speckled spread of black molds and patchy stains. The air had a strange damp heaviness to it, something more than the earthy smell of rot and a stench of decay. The shades that block the view of the neighborhood are very different on the inside. There's some kind of tarry substance holding them in place. Everything is silent. I can see a stairwell going up, but the stairs also twist around down towards the basement. I could also continue deeper on this floor. I can see a doorway, but it's too dark to see anything beyond it. Okay, we have choices. Fun. I think right off the bat I should go down the stairs. I go down the stairs. It's even darker in the basement, and my light makes a poor job of giving me any kind of vision. The air is cold and forbidding, and the smell of decay gets stronger as I reach the bottom. Each step sticks to the floor. This is got to be some kind of trick or something. This is not something that happens in a nice neighborhood without someone calling the cops. The door was unlocked. Surely someone wouldn't have found this before me if we were real. Then again, this is the kind of thing you see on the news for sure, even if it was fake. I checked my phone. No service. A single bare bulb feebly attempts to light the morbid scene before me. What appears to be a human head, floating on the top of putrid smelling black liquid. Next to the tub is a small table, on which sit some instruments of some sort, and a sack of something. The walls, floor, and ceiling are speckled with what I presume to be mold. This can't be real. As if on cue, the lights flicker briefly, and for a moment I'm alone in the darkness. Before I have time to panic, there's a buzzing, and it comes back to life, although I'm still not sure which is worse. The tub, the sack, leave. Let's check the sack. A heavy canvas bag, tied tightly at one end with twine. It jingles as I fight with the knot to open it up. I hear bubbling to my left. The woman's severed head has risen out of the ink core. Blood fills her eyes and she begins to gurgle. Nope. I don't want to wait to see what it else does. I just grab the sack and run up the stairs. The door of the entryway is open and I dash through. The rest is buzzy until I was at the bus stop. The head didn't follow me out of the house. Why'd you grab the sack? As to the sack, flip Canadian $1 and $2 coins, loonies and toonies. Maybe worth a couple $100, nowhere near enough to cover rent, and not exactly what I would call a valuable treasure. It won't go very far if I'm forced to live on the street. I'll have to go back tomorrow. I barely sleep. I spend the night alternating between trying to come up with a logical explanation for what happened last night and worrying about what I'll have to face next. The thing is, there's no logical explanation, is there? If it was real, why hasn't anyone reported it, other than stuff I hear online, I mean? You'd think the neighbors would have said something by now. At this very least, reported random people going into the house and in some instances never coming out. Ugh, I don't have time to think too much about it right now. I gotta get to work. There's got to be some other way to raise the cash, right? Except no, not in the time I've got left. The only way I can think to make fast cash would be to rob someone or break into something, and I won't do that. I'm poor, but I have my principles, and I'm not going to ruin someone else to survive. Today is painstakingly slow. There are no customers. There's nothing to do. Daydream, clean the store. Let's clean the store. The store is already clean, but I've got nothing else to do. I resort the shelves and dust areas I usually skip. At the end of my shift, I'm curious if my manager's going to say anything, but he never leaves the office, and it's pretty clear nothing I do matters. Workday's done. It's time to visit the house. Just like last time, the door opens to greet me. I want to go down the stairs again just to see. I go down the stairs. No sign of the severed head. The basement is just as nasty, smelly, and clammy as the last time. Cool, clammy air washes over me as I descend the stairs. There was precious little light before, but now I'm completely reliant on my phone. The rough concrete floor crunches underfoot as I step on tiny fragments of stone. There's nothing here to save for some stained box in the corner. I'm gonna check the box. Okay, sinks of mold, fitted water, and wet cardboard. That specific smell. In the corner is a small bag. It jingles when I touch it, so I pick it up and fiddle with the twine, keeping it closed. The light bounces off silver coins I see inside. They're bigger than quarters and have a nice heaviness to them, so I'm guessing they're silver dollars. Not really a treasure. The bag's too small to hold that many coins, and I doubt they will cover rent. Still, I can't complain. It's more money than I had before. I pocket the bag. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. A pair of stark red eyes appear at me from within the stain. It'd be comical if it weren't for the fact that it shouldn't be physically possible. That's what you run. Darkness seems to seep from the box. The shadow seems to be eating the light as it swirls and spreads. That's the severed head. I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm not that tired. As soon as I'm clear of the house, I run full tilt back to the bus stop. Safe under a streetlight, I check to see if there's any signs of being followed. Doesn't seem like it. I tap the small bag of silver dollars in my pocket. Won't be enough to make rent, and it won't go too far if I'm forced on the streets. I'll have to go back tomorrow. Are you that desperate? I don't know. Oh, and what am I saying? Of course you are, but you never really have enough money? I don't know what time I finally drifted off, but it was late, and getting up in time for work felt like coming back from the dead. Speaking of, I have no reasonable explanation for the house other than that it's haunted. Every skeptical fiber in my being has given up. Something well outside my understanding of reality dwells within that house. And I'm going to have to face it tonight again. Take a look in the mirror and instantly regret it. I look like hell. Can't go on like this. Won't go on like this. My choices are to die in the house or die in the streets. The manager is listening to the news loudly in his office as it's a slow day but not dead. When it's dead, he gets so bored he tends to watch me through the security cameras instead, then comes out to make busy work for me because heaven forbid I just stand around because there's nothing to do. I could listen in if I wanted to. Listen to the latest story in business. Let's do that. I guess I'm not the only one investigating supernatural rumors. Most of what I'm hearing are conspiracy theories about how it's actually drugs or woke culture or the government, although none of their explanations make much sense. Reports of mutilated corpses, names I recognize that have gone missing, and descriptions of what people have claimed to encounter, on the other hand, are hitting a little too close to home for me. Workday's done. It's time to visit the house. Okay, we're not gonna go in that basement. Let's go up the stairs. I go up the stairs. Check the closet, check under the bed. Check under the bed. Not exactly thrilled about the idea of getting on my hands and knees on some dirty, decaying carpet to look under a rotting bed, but it's less work and probably less disgusting than trying to cut open the mattress or pulling up floorboards. I shine my light around and see an old wooden box. I pull it out and look inside to find a collection of Sunday shinies, some coins, and a few pieces of jewelry. I'm no expert, but the coins look genuine. They feel heavy, and while they're dirty, the detailing is excellent. I'm much less sure about the jewelry. It could be well-crafted fakes, or they could be worth a good amount. I have no way of telling, so I just dump the contents into my jacket pocket. As I stand there, thinking about where to check next, I notice that the shadows growing under the bed. Again. I hear the scraping sound, something heavy and sharp digging into rotting wood, before I see the massive white clawed hand emerge from the darkness under the frame. The claw pulls a massive creature that somehow manages to squeeze out under that narrow space. It's sort of like watching a cat squeeze under a fence, like it's somehow more liquid than solid. When a cat does it, there's less popping and crackling though. Even though my heart's racing and all common sense is screaming at me to run at the same time, it's incredibly fascinating. It's just so impossible, yet here it is, happening from my eyes. Then it turns and glares at me. Hell no. I turn and charge towards the stairs, hopping over the railing and out the door, which is thankfully open. I run down the street towards the bus stop. I don't think the creature's following me, but I don't pause until I think I'm safe under the street lights. I don't really feel the pain in my ankles until the adrenaline starts to wear off, and I realize that the landing was a bit rougher than I thought. The next morning, I take my find to a pawn shop and I'm able to get a little over $350 for it. I really wish I could have taken it to something more reputable, but I need the money fast, and it's not enough for rent. I'm out of options. I gotta go back tomorrow. I posted some of my experiences online, and the resulting flame war got me banned from the community. Half of the people were decrying me as a liar, contributing to misinformation and superstition, while the other half wanted to know more and share similar experiences. I did learn a bit from the resulting mess. There's a conspiracy that the government is trying to suppress discussion of the supernatural, and that's why nobody's talking about it. The irony is that even if the government is not suppressing, the moderators are so either way, so there's a grain of truth there. Some people have messaged me urging me not to go back, that the threat is real and whatever presence is in that house is trying to warn me away, but pretty soon it'll get serious and I could disappear. Honestly, whatever in that house wanted to kill us, it would have, honestly. Well, if I don't get more cash, then my whole life presence is going to disappear anyway. I've decided I want out of this life. Find a treasure or die trying. But either way, I want this to be over and I don't care how anymore. Today was painstakingly slow. There were no customers, there's nothing to do. Daydream? I just stand at the till thinking about the house and its possible treasures. Imagine if I actually find something really valuable. I get pawn it off enough to make rent and then sell the rest of it properly. Remember a story about some rare gold coins some people found that were worth almost $1 million? I'd be happy with a fraction of that. The manager comes out and complains I'm just standing there, tells me to clean the store since I clearly have time. The store's already clean enough and it's pretty clear he's just making busy work for me. Work's done. Time to visit the house. We shall go. What if I check the door? I grab the handle, twist, and pull with all my might, but it doesn't give in the slightest. So I guess I don't leave until the house lets me, huh? Go to the kitchen. I go into the kitchen. The kitchen reeks of fetid water and decay. Black mold is everywhere, and a brittle tile cracks underfoot. Check the freezer. The freezer still seems to be intact. Oh god, my god. The freezer's still working, and there's a frozen, severed head inside. This cannot be real, but I'm not going to touch it. Next to the head is a small bag. It takes a sharp tug to pull it out. It's frozen to the floor of the freezer, but I'm aboarded with a jingling sound. Take a peek inside, and there's a glint of silver in the light. Silver dollars? Not a huge treasure, but if they're genuine, it could be worth something. My thoughts were interrupted by a crunching sound. I fell backwards as the head shudders, yanking itself free from its icy tomb and floats towards me. I stare back in fascination at the horror. This isn't possible. My heart starts to pound in my chest. We scream in unison. The head is in rage and myself in terror. Head doesn't have to try to control its bowels, though. I hastily retreat to the entryway and find the door open. To take off into the street, I glance behind me. Nothing's following me. Not taking any chances, I keep running until I reach the safety of the bus stop. I don't check the bag until I'm safely at home. There's silver dollars, all right. I don't know how much they're worth, but I'm not sure if it's enough to cover rent. We keep doing this thing where we keep going back. 2 days left. If I cash in what I've collected, maybe I'll get an extension. Thing is, just getting an extension is just delaying the inevitable. Unless I find the bulk of the loot, and soon, I'm probably going to get myself killed just searching the house. It would be nice to go during the day, but I can't afford time off. It's not like my manager is going to say, "Oh sure, you need the time off to explore a haunted house." I've decided I want out of this life. Find the treasure or die trying. But either way, I want this to be over and I don't care how anymore. A middle-aged woman enters the store. She scans the shelves with some kind of scrutiny some ancient high priest would use to pick a victim for sacrifice. And I know it's going to be one of those days. Finally, she clears a shelf of its toilet paper and comes to get me to cash it out. Store policy, on the other hand, forbids me from selling more than 2 packages of toilet paper per customer. People have been panic buying thanks to a certain news outlet which have been declaring that end times are near. Now, considering I'm going to be trying to plunder a haunted house tonight based on the rumor of treasure, I really shouldn't judge too harshly. Maybe we are approaching end times and the dead have been rising from the graves and the moon will turn to blood and dogs and cats will live together amongst mass hysteria. I don't care. They're not the ones working retail while facing eviction, and besides, all the toilet paper in the world is not going to protect you from a ghost. I can tell she knows about the store policy by the intense stare she's giving me, just waiting for me to say something. Say nothing, explain store policy, tell her off. I have been through too much this week to take any more shit. With a sunny smile and a courteous tone, I explain there's a limit of 2 packages per customer. When she begins her tirade, I politely wait for her to finish before saying that I understand her situation, as someone so obviously full of shit might have a legitimate reason to require more than 2 packages of toilet paper. I offered to get the manager, who might make an exception for such a massive turd beast as herself. Having lit the fuse, I quickly ducked back to the manager's office before her stunned expression wears off. I'm explaining the situation when a woman pops up behind me screaming for retribution at my job. When he questions me, I reply I never say something like that when it clearly would mean my job, which I can't afford to lose. This of course sets the deranged woman off even more, and she begins to spout various threats I know she can't follow through with. He assures her I'll be disciplined, but when she has the gall to step across the threshold into his office, turns out he really does have a spine, and he tells her to leave the store before he calls the police. I ask if I should get back to the till in case anyone else comes in, and he nods. We actually do wind up calling the cops, but she's gone before they arrive. When my coworker relieves me at the end of my shift, she makes a comment about if I'm feeling alright because my smile's a little scary. I cannot wait to get back to the haunted house. I hope I see a ghost. I hope the ghost asks for toilet paper, and then I'm going to tell it that it can only have 2 packages. I bet the ghost will have better manners and just kill me on the spot. Then I'll be dead. Then I'm going to move in with it. Then we'll see who's laughing now. Workday's done. Time to visit the house. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the... Let's check the shade. Wherever the black stuff is, it twitches and pulsates slightly when I get a closer look. Okay, let's go to the kitchen. And check the fridge. The door of the fridge sticks and I have to give it a sharp tug to open it. Oh my god, shouldn't be shocked anymore. The corpse is twisted and broken. There's a smell of death, but it's not very strong, which means she's not been dead for too long. No, this can't be real, right? Someone would have to deliberately found it in an unlocked house by now. Next to her is a small bag. I poke it with my foot and hear it jingle. Seems like it's full of coins, judging by how it feels against the toe of my shoe and the sound it makes. I gingerly pull out the string, keeping it closed, and see a glint of silver reflected by the light of my phone. As I investigate further, I give the corpse an apologetic look. I'm sorry, but you're dead and I'm broke. There's a variety of coins in there, some silver dollars, some foreign, but all shiny and invitingly in the dark. This is wrong. What else could I do? I need it for rent. I take the bag, tucking it into my jacket. There's a dull pop and cracking sound as the head begins to shudder and turn towards me, its neck stretching. As I stand there in shock, its jaw begins to open, revealing jagged teeth and pinpricks of white grow in those empty black sockets. It begins to scream, and as it does, a red haze wells from its eyes, while blood begins to seep along the back of its tomb. The corpse shambles to its feet as I step back. It stares at me in a moment before lunging, grabbing me by my shoulders. I wait to see what it does next. Nothing else has killed me yet. Dude, you're killing me here. You're not killing me? Did you want me to kill you? Depends if I can make rent this week. If I can't, you might as well go ahead. Dude, I'm not going to kill you. If I wanted to kill you, you would have done it the first night. Oh, why do you sound so disappointed? I'm not, it's just that I gotta find enough cash to make rent or I'm out in the streets. Okay, I was a little worried about what I saw before, but now I know we gotta talk. One sec, gonna take us to the physical kitchen. What? Ooh, so nice. And now we're here, and that's been my week. Yeti? If I can't scrap enough cash together, I'm going to be homeless. My job doesn't pay me a living wage, and I've not been able to get anything better. Also, it's slowly killing your mind and soul. I've been watching. You've been spying on me? You repeatedly come into my house and took stuff. Sorry. I've been going as long as I can, but everything's catching up to me. I need to find whatever treasure, if there is any, hidden away here. Yuri? I'm gonna call it Yuri. That's the ghost. Gazes at me thoughtfully with all three eyes. She invited me to the kitchen, the normal kitchen, for ice cream while we chatted. All of this just to make rent. Yeah. For like a month before, you have to do all this over again. Yeah. She regards me sadly, her brow furrowing, closing all but her third eye. Did you want to live with me instead? I gape at her. I'm sorry, what? Move in with me. Stop dealing with your landlord. Stop worrying about rent. Move in with a ghost? Might as well. You've been here every night. Point. She smiles. Well, lucky us, I guess. Okay, what am I gonna do for food? How did you die? If you don't mind me asking. Quit my job. Why'd you call me dude? Okay, how did you die? I didn't. But you're a ghost. A fairy spirit. But you're not alive. Right. If you're not alive, but you're not dead, what are you? A fairy spirit. You could say I'm born, if you want to get technical. I decide that's a conversation for another time. What am I going to do about food? Don't you like ice cream? I do, but don't you have any other kinds of other food? Well, there's cake in the fridge, and there's licorice and marzipan. Do you have any actual food? She stares at me for a few moments. I guess we could make room for food. Is milk food? It's a start. I use it on Monster cereal. How are you not diabetic? I'm not alive. I mean, fair. Quit my job? Why do you want me to quit my job? Besides the fact that it's slowly killing you? Sure. It eats into your time and stresses you out dealing with jerks when you could be doing stuff. Like, would you have any dreams you could be chasing? No, they're dead. Don't talk like that. Are my dreams important? Dreams are crazy important to us berries. What am I gonna do for money in the meantime? Money's not important. It kinda is to us humans. It totally isn't. Money only has value because humanity gives it value. Literally nobody and nothing else cares. Okay, but how am I gonna pay for food? Look, you need money, let me know. Got the stuff just lying around, doesn't do me much good. Except for buying ice cream, of course. Kinda wanna ask her more about that, but I've got a feeling that's a conversation for another time. Why'd you call me dude? I think mortal is kinda cliche. Even if they're a woman. If you're a mortal, you're a dude, at least to me. Other fairies use other terms. Okay, and why? Why do you want me to move in? What would you get out of it? Maybe I like you. If that was the case, you could've just asked me earlier. She smirks. Fine, so despite all my power, guess what's the one thing I can't do? Scare me anymore, drive a car, deal with things? Yeah, actually, I can't own property. I'm not mortal, which means I don't have paperwork. I used to haunt this abandoned place on Springbank Drive, but it was torn down. Turning people away doesn't work if they just bulldoze the place. It's not like I can buy it off them. Impersonating a human only gets so far, and it falls apart as soon as crazy people want stuff like credit history. Some unseelie fae have tried just killing people, but that just gets the place firebombed instead. Have any idea how hard it is to get property for haunting purposes? No, but then how'd you get this place? Haunted real estate agency. What? Haunted real estate agency. Everything's in our name. With paperwork, nice and human legal. There's haunted real estate agencies. You pay them money? Sometimes, but they rarely ask for it. Mark favors and contractual obligations. I have a human of my own though. You can own the deed instead and I wouldn't need the agency anymore. With a legitimate living person to officially own the place, nobody will bulldoze my home out from under me again. Would the agency be okay with you getting out of your contract like that? Oh yeah, it's encouraged. Something to do with improving human-fairy relations. So why me? I can't scare you anymore. It could be that you're really special, but as far as I can tell, you're in such a dark place that I think you'll die if you don't. If you were just greedy, you'd still be scared of me. If you were just thrill-seeking, you'd still be scared of me. You were just ready to give up and die. Never experienced life and you're just gonna throw it all away? No fairy would just leave you like that. Not even the unseelie. And they sure as heck would kill people, but only if they still want to live. They only kill people who didn't want to die. Unseelie fairies only kill people they've got beef with. They like their bad reputation, but they're not heartless. Dude, going out screaming is merciful compared to death by sorrow. The kind of hurt I see in you is the kind of thing that would have not only destroyed a fairy, but because you're mortal, your body is keeping you from going though, even though you don't want to. I'm not just gonna stand by and let you get worse. I won't force you to stay, but I am offering and asking you to accept for your own sake. Give her an answer? So I had to make a decision. I could live in a dark, cold Hellworld, or I can move in with a ghost. Not really much of a choice. Alright, I guess I could get used to all the ichor and creepiness and... What? No, you were living in the physical space of the house. I'm not using it much. The speaking version is something I created to scare off the crap out of people. You're spirited away the moment you came through the front door. I mean, really, we're just gonna share the kitchen. I need some place for my ice cream. A physical space? Unity shows me around. The house, the real house, is mostly empty and perfectly ordinary. Plenty of room for me. She really was just using the kitchen. I noticed a laptop during this tour. Is that yours? Oh yeah, I'll set you up with a Wi-Fi password once you're settled. You have internet? Just because I'm a fairy ghost, you think I don't need internet access? Everyone does. How else am I gonna start rumors that this place has treasure? That is how I came to live in the house in Hellworld. Hey, that was just a happy ending. Okay, and that is the end of the house in Hellworld. Turns out the house wasn't so bad after all, and we got a free place to live. Everything ended well. Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye!